use it here, but also Uber is using process mining. So there are all these services that you're using that you may not be aware of, that they are optimized using this. Just to share an interesting example, where I've been, like a few weeks ago, I gave a keynote at the Lufthansa conference. And Lufthansa is one of the organizations that is using process mining to analyze all kinds of processes, including the process of a plane that is landing, for example, in Frankfurt or Munich. A plane is landing and then needs to take off again. And if you have flights inside Europe, sometimes you need to do that in 1 hour, right? In 1 hour, the plane is landing, like the passengers leave the plane, new passengers go in, etc., and then the plane has to take off. In 1 hour, this has to happen. And this is another process that we think, okay, this looks very simple, very easy, but think about it. So all the passengers have to get out of the plane. New passengers need to get into the plane. But you also have fueling. Fueling starts, fueling ends. The baggage needs to be unloaded and loaded again. Also, there is cleaning of the plane. So the cleaning crew goes in and the cleaning crew comes out. So these are just examples of events that are happening. And if one of these things goes wrong, right? The baggage is delivered too late, then that flight gets delayed. And that flight is going to another airport, and if it got delayed, there will be delays there, etc., etc. So there will be a cascade of problems just by, I don't know, the cleaning crew not being there in time. And this is a nice example on operations of a process. You've probably been at airports. You also see that often things do not run the way that they should run. But you see how powerful insights are if you can find the root causes of such issues. And I hope that this example makes it a bit clear in your mind how you can use that. So my personal challenge is to automatically create models which capture reality as well as possible. And once we have these digital models of reality, we completely understand why there are certain problems, but also how we can address them. So we can do what-if scenarios. What if we change this and this? What would happen? And that is, I don't know, if you create a digital twin of, for example, an engine that is relatively simple, right? It's very much limited where you are. But if you make a digital model of an organization, that is a bit more tricky, right? And you can see why there is still a lot of research needed in this space. So that was a bit what process mining is all about, why it is relevant, and I hope that I gave an idea of what is in there. So I'm generally seen as the inventor of process mining, and I started to work on this in the late 90s. And the reason that I started to work on this was that I was very disappointed by people making process models by hand, and I was very disappointed in many projects where a company decided to buy software to improve their processes, but in the end, often the software was not even used. As I saw lots of, let's say, disasters happening, let's say in the mid-90s, where companies were investing heaps of money to improve their processes, but nothing happened. And why was that the case? Because people were thinking about processes in terms of PowerPoints. And so they just had a PowerPoint diagram. That was their view of the process, and therefore it did not work. So what I did is I reversed the process, and I started to just analyze the data. And that was, for me, a super interesting academic challenge, right? I just look at data, and I want to create processes. Now that sounds very logical, but at that point in time, everybody said that I was nuts. I developed these algorithms. I also stimulated many of my students to start, let's say, process mining companies. So at this point in time, there are, let's say, over 40 process mining companies, many of them located here in Europe. And for example, the prime example, I'm also the chief scientist of Celonis, and Celonis is the most valuable startup in Germany at this point in time. So this is like really a success story, just like, for example, SAP in the past was a success story. This is one of the few examples where let's say, Europe is leading compared to, let's say, many other areas in the world. So, of course, when you